Now we have another caller on the line right now who wants to ask you another question. Susie, are you there?
Hey, Susie.
Hey, Ben. How's Palm Springs?
Yeah, very nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, very lovely.
My question is about one of my favourite scenes from Band of Brothers, episode 3, Quarantine, actually, when Smokey reads the poem to Talbot. Now, I know that this is based on something that actually happened. However, according to Stephen Ambrose, the poem didn't survive.
That's correct.
I was wondering, do you know to what the mix was, how much was made up by writers, and how much actually came from the memories of some of the veterans?
As far as I know, I think that was totally from the mind of the writer. That poem, and it was what an amazing poem it was. I mean, I was truly blown away when I read it. Thought, wow, this is an amazing piece of writing here. And as far as I know, it was all from the writer. I mean, obviously we had as much as everyone else had to go on with all the research material. But as far as I know, as I say, it didn't survive, and that was the writer basically, making that up, and it was an amazing job he did.
According to the book, co-wrote it, and I was just wondering if you had an opportunity to get his view on the scene and the writer's version.
No, I didn't actually. I mean, I remember meeting him, but no, I didn't. We didn't talk about that specifically. I mean, it's what, with some of the guys. Some of the guys, when we met them, were very open and wanted to talk about their experiences, and some weren't so forthcoming, and you kind of just had to respect that. I don't remember ever having a conversation with him specifically. I mean, I remember having a conversation with quite a few of the guys about Smokey Gordon specifically, and their specific memories. They'd suddenly come out and say, "Hey, I remember this time that I was with Walter and he did this or we did that," but most of the time I remember just meeting them and just being very respectful of allowing them to open up if they felt that they wanted to. I just felt very respectful of those memories, and particularly for some of the real guys who actually came onto set. It was very hard for them. I mean, I remember I think it was I can't remember specifically who it was. It might have been Winters, but anyway, one of the guys was actually on set and he couldn't get out the car. They drove him to set, and it was just so real. I think it was during Quarantine actually, and we drove him to this amazing set that they built, and it was just so real, and the costumes and everything were just so accurate that it just brought back so many memories. And he couldn't get out of the car. When you watch that and you kind of see how much this means to these guys, and how much they think about their experiences, and they must think about them pretty much every day of their lives. You just kind of think I just have to be very respectful of that, and obviously if there are stories that they want to open up, then great, but I didn't want to push anything that somebody felt they couldn't talk about. But as I say, we had some fantastic times with the real guys, and I was just so respectful of them, meeting them, and from now onwards, whenever I meet anybody that served, I'm just so respectful of what they've been through, because I felt that Band of Brothers was the best history lesson I've ever had. To actually do that stuff was phenomenal, and I'm just so in awe of guys who go over and fight for their country. It's a very special thing.
Does that answer your question, Susie?
That answered it perfectly. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in, darling. We appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to talk to you, Susie.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Now, so you've been very respectful about all the answers, and you haven't brought up any of the shenanigans or pranks or any of the off-color stuff.
Yeah.
Were you the outcast here? Were you not allowed to play the reindeer games, or do you not have any of these stories, or are you just not wanting to share the good stuff?
No, I'm just trying to think. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the stuff I think has been shared already. I mean, there were a lot of shenanigans. I mean, it may well be that I was always very aware of all the shenanigans going on, and I felt that. For me, I was always kind of part of that stuff, and wanting to be part of a lot of the time being part of the kind of the group fun, but I was also a lot of the time on the periphery. I felt to me that there were some guys that just fell into those kind of roles very quickly, and for some others, I think we just kind of went along with it. But as I say, I think a lot of the shenanigans were taken care of by some of the guys, and it was just amazing just to be part of that whole experience. And I mean, a lot of the shenanigans I think have been shared already, and I can't think at this precise moment of time of things that haven't been shared as yet. I mean, I remember going out with the guys, the American guys out into kind of Soho, and I remember the night that there were fights. And I remember that all happening, and I mean, I was always there and part of all of that. But as I say, I'm not able to share at this precise moment stuff that you haven't already heard. So if anything comes, I'll make sure I'll add it in.
Just because we heard it from the other guys doesn't mean we can't get your unique perspective on it.
No, that's true. That's true.
Now, who was the instigator at all these bar fights? Because so far it's either Neil or Jimmy, and most often it's Jimmy.
Yeah, I seem to remember it was Jimmy. I mean, I just remember Jimmy was at bars and stuff. People thought that they could mess with Jimmy Medio, but you would be a very foolish man to think that was a wise idea. I seem to remember it was Jimmy, and actually it was Neil who was always kind of basically digging him out of trouble. But yeah, it was. I think it was mainly Jimmy, and I'm just trying to think if anyone else ended up getting into any bar brawls, but not that I can recall actually.